Hello, my name's Pam Broviak, and I'm a genealogist who loves to research family history, and I love preparing family history stories for people. And the things I like to put in there are graphics that help explain those stories. So one of the items that's great for that are maps that show where someone's ancestors might have owned land. And lately, I've gotten in the habit of using the USGS National Map to plot the location of deeds and land patents, and to sometimes also use them just to try to understand family relationships and if I might have the right person or not, if I'm working with someone with a very common name. So I made this video to show how I use the National Map in case that might help others to use it either for their family histories or for just trying to do some proximity research. So let's start by, I guess, searching a land patent that we can plot. So we go to Bureau of Land Management, land patent search. And that brings us to the search site. And lately I've been working in Alabama. You can change the state if yours is different. And I've been in Talladega County. And I've been working in section or township 20 south, range 2 east. But you can see if you didn't have that information, you could put a name in here also. Hit search patents. That brings up everyone in that township and range. So we could pick any one of these and plot, but it's nice to look at the patent and make sure that we actually have the right property. And so pick this Drury D's. He's in section 26, southeast quarter of northeast quarter. And if we click that, we'll look at patent image. Here's the image of the patent. We can read he received the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter of section 26 in the fractional township 20 of range 2. And if we wanted to look at the survey plat, we could come here to related documents, surveys, and look at that. But what we want to do is we want to plot this on a more modern map so someone can have an idea of where their ancestors' property was located. So next we'll come over to the national map. And it's a map that's created and maintained by a U.S. federal agency, the USGS. So click on that. That brings us to the main site. And what we're looking for is the National Map Viewer. So I click this picture and it's bringing up a GIS map, basically a map that's got a lot of data behind it and takes a few minutes to load. When it comes in, we'll see there'll be a toolbar here. It just takes time. There it goes. And so what I'll do is I'll usually use my scroll on my mouse to scroll into the general location. I know I'm in Alabama. Maybe I don't really know exactly where. So if I know what county, then I can get closer. I know I'm not in the city, but I'm pretty close now. I'm in the county here. And so now to find my township, I have to add the public land system here. It's not default already on there. So I come to this toolbar, it shows a sheet of paper with a plus sign and click that. That's how I add my data. You can see there's a little pop-up that says add data. And if I come here to the list of data sets, the BLM public land survey system, I just click add, puts it right in there. Takes a minute, there it goes. I can X out of this. And I'm looking for 20 south, 2 east. You can see this is showing township and range. So 20 south is down here and 2 east back here. Looking for section 26 right there. You can see they've numbered all the sections within the township. a township is 6 miles by 6 miles. The sections start in this area of the country. They start numbering in the northeast corner and proceed west to 6, drop down, go back to the east, and then it continues to zigzag in the numbering across till it completes down here in section 36 in the southeast corner of the township. So we're in 26, right there. And now I want to plot that southeast of the northeast. I'd like working side by side, but we'll come back here just to make sure. Southeast of the northeast of section 26. So to draw this, the USGS has given us drawing tools up here in this little tool that looks like an artist palette with a paintbrush. I click that, and I usually use this tool, polygon tool. It comes up with all these different choices. I kind of like this blue, but I was working here before I realized that's a lot of blue in this area, so it gets lost if I use that color. So I was using purple, not typically a color that you see on a topo map, so it worked out good. It's good to move this transparency before you start drawing, and then I don't really change the outline with. So this up here is going to be the northeast quarter because this section is divided into quarters, and then this would be the northeast one. And I want the southeast of that, which would be about here. Now to draw that, if I started here, I might not square up very well. So I know I have to start about halfway between here and end up halfway between here. So I'm going to start about here and proceed counterclockwise. So I click to start, and now you can see I have my drawing line. Luckily I have a road to kind of follow to go to the section line. I move up that section line so I'm about halfway. Click, and then come back over here. You see it kind of helps me square it up a little better. So it's probably not perfect because I didn't measure it to create that, but it's pretty close. And I think it gives a really good idea of approximately where that land was located. So I can X out of there and show if I wanted to change the background, I can bring up this tool with the 4 blocks, and maybe I want imagery, so I can click that and you can see how it changes the background. Probably not what it was like back when they first moved there. In fact, if I look at the survey plat back on the Bureau of Land Management site, it shows a lot of pine trees. So probably before it was farmland, there was a lot of pines here. Obviously, when the settlers came in, they cleared land to farm. So that's what it looks like today. But what's nice is if someone wanted to drive out there to find where their ancestors owned land, this might give them better context in driving around. I do like this national map with the topo lines, the contour lines, because it shows if your ancestor owned land where there's a hill like this, or maybe there was a valley or low spot, or like this is pretty flat over here. Down here it shows probably swampland. So I like the contour lines. I'll leave that in there. The other thing I'd mentioned is I use it to plot other land that was owned by people who I think may be related. So if I go back to this draw tool and maybe I want to plot someone else's land, I turn on the transparency and I say, well, there's someone I know with a fairly common name that I know married into someone from this family, but I don't know if I have the right land patent. So I'm going to plot that, and maybe their land, oh, I see, I forgot. You have to click one of these. So come back here, maybe their land was owned down here. Oops, that was not good. So you can undo and do it again. So this person down here who's got the same name as someone who married into someone from this family, once I bought the land, I see, well, that probably is the right person because look how close the property was, particularly if other people have that same common name, but their land plots out many, many miles away. The person who owned this patent most likely then is the right person because they live very close. They're pretty much within a mile of each other or less than a mile. So that's definitely within walking distance. And what's nice then is you can put this in a family history to even show people, and I think that gives them a better understanding of, oh, my 4 times great grandfather lived here, my 4 times great grandmother lived here. No wonder they had a chance to meet up and marry. They live so close to each other. So it's really nice. I'd like to show how I clip this, but what I noticed in making the video is it doesn't really bring up the other tool I use, but what I use to clip it is the window snipping tool. And I don't know if you've used that for other things, but basically that's what I do is I just open that tool and then do a new clip. And I usually zoom out a little so that I can catch if there's a town nearby or a major body of water. I think that adds context to the ancestors, I guess, experience in living in this particular location. So I usually zoom out enough to catch any features I want to include, and then I use the snipping tool. I did notice they have a print function on here. I've not really used it. They do allow a PDF. It does have some image types, so you can use that. I haven't yet, but it's probably something I should try. I've just gotten used to using that snipping tool, and then I'll just bring it in a graphics program to up the pixels because usually it comes in at 72. So that's just a quick little video to show how I get to the national map, how I use it, how the drawing tools work, and how you can use it too. My understanding is almost everything from the federal government, almost everything is copyright free, but I'm going to show there is some information here about the copyrights. So if you want to use particular backgrounds or data that's on there, I would check the USGS copyright information, but most of it seems to be copyright free, and what I clip here, I consider this to be copyright free, but again, not an attorney, so I would urge you to do your own research on the copyrights. So thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this. Thank you.